live a life of freedom and adventure? Are you wanting more than the daily grind? Me too. Welcome to the EMMA LOVELL Show, a place where we talk about living a life you love now. I'm your host, Emma Lovell, and my number one value is freedom. I've spent the last 14 years running a business and traveling the world, and now I take my husband and toddler along for the adventure too. It's possible, and I know you can create a life doing what you truly love as well. This podcast will inspire, motivate, and encourage you to go after your dreams, to create a life you love and to live it now, not wait for a time or someday in the future. I'll be sharing episodes weekly about how I harmonise business, travel, and self-care. I'll also bring on incredible guests to share their journeys, the wins, the challenges, and how they're creating a life they love. Let's jump in and get dreaming. This is a space for you to manifest a life you love. I would like to acknowledge and recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first peoples of this place, now known as Australia. I am grateful for the continuing care of the land, waterways and skies where I work, live, listen, learn and play. From here on Yugambeh country and from wherever you are listening, I pay my respects to the elders past and present. Welcome to today's podcast, the EMMA LOVELL Show, and I'm talking about the fact that I have been scared. So this podcast episode is called I've Been Scared, and lately I've been a bit of a scaredy cat, and this is not how anybody sees me, right? And you know, there's the feel the fear and do it anyway, or that fear is a similar emotion or feeling like excitement. But I think for me it's scared, and it's come up in a few different ways. And I know there's a way to reframe it, but I just want to let you know that that's first the thing. So if you're out there and you're feeling scared right now, and I'm not scared of the world, I'm not scared of what's going on. I'm scared of asking. I'm scared of no, is what I'm scared of. I'm scared of no. I'm scared of being told no. It's made me scared of asking. And it's made me in a way scared to dream, or like I'm clinging to my dreams because if it doesn't work out, or if the thing I want to do doesn't work out, and which is ultimately a no, it's a no to what I want to do. That's like my biggest fear. And really my biggest fear is like lack of freedom and lack of choice. And so the irony is I'm not even giving myself the freedom or to have choice by not even being open to possibilities. I think what some of it has come from is feeling a little bit, so if we change it, the wording from scared to hurt, to wounded, to a little bit tender. And, you know, it's something I've talked to with my psychologist about she's brought it up. I don't know if she's brought it up a few times or it just comes back to me a few times, but it's that Brene Brown quote about being in the arena. And because I am an entrepreneur, I create a lot of things, you know, write books, get up on stages, share online, create a podcast. I do put myself out there a lot. And so I think sometimes when you go in the arena, and at times I have the resilience to hear no or to try a different way or to, but when it kind of happens over and over and over and over again, and look, to be honest, it kind of came up with the book journey I've recently been on for my cousin's book, and I feel like I came up against more barriers than I kind of had anticipated, and it brought up a lot more no's, or I don't know, just made me really tender. I feel like I had to go into battle quite a lot for the book. I had to go into battle a bit for my son last year, with some childcare stuff. I've talked about that on the podcast. I feel like, you know, even in some family relationships, or like I've just been like there's a lot of battling and a lot of like standing up and a lot of like trying to push and force. And I think I'm just a bit too tender to then hear somebody say no. even though potentially I haven't been told no, it's that obviously rejection. And I have this, I'm scared of rejection. Um, I've generally had a very warm audience, a very warm world, a very loving world, and that hasn't changed. I have people who love me and work with me, but or are just in my world, but for the fear that I might maybe come across someone who isn't, maybe that's it. And so a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to someone, and look, I think it's going for a lot of people that, business has been slower for me, full disclosure. Um, Things like I don't have as many engagements going on, which is not a comfortable place for me to sit in, even though it's fine. Um, it's not, usually I'm creating. Or okay, things are slow, let's go, go, go. And I'm trying to shift that, but also trying to work in new ways and with new people. And the only way you're going to do that and you're going to go to a different level or go to different places is by trying new things and putting yourself out there and asking. And so I had a few conversations the other week, and it was like, kind of the response I got was like, we got two. It would be call people, talk to people, reach out to people. Literally got told to door knock, which made me feel really, I was like, I feel scared. Hearing you say that, I feel scared. Like, how does that make you feel if I say to you, go and door knock for business? You're like, um, but yet I would tell you, like, send DMs, put it out there. Like, don't, I know you can't just rely, and there's so much noise online, you can't just rely on your newsletter and social media and just, you have to directly speak to people. And it's always the thing I say, directly message people, especially with a retreat. Tell people it's on, directly message them. Uh, but when I was told it to me, I was like, no, I don't want to. And I certainly don't want to go knock on someone's door. And I didn't want to pick up the phone. And I just was ironically retreating. I run a retreat business. I talk about retreats. And I was like retreating. And I felt really scared by the idea. And I had multiple conversations, but in the same conversation, those people would also go, maybe you also need a rest. And it was that like, yeah, I think my heart's just a little bit tender. And that's why I can't ask the question or put it out there. That's why I can't approach people like, and it's so, I'm sure you don't see me as this. I'm sure you see me as confident, bold, like bold is a word like some people use about me, or brave. And oh, it makes me want to cry. Like my dad tells me I'm brave and courageous for running a business like this. Because it does take some bravery and courage to like back yourself all the time. And so then, yeah, there's times where you're a little bit wounded and your heart hurts a little bit because we do put our heart into our work and we give so much. So to then go to ask out there to like potentially have your heart stomped on, and it's not, this is like a lot of work I've done is like business energetics. Like it's like they're not saying no to you, they're saying no to the business offer, or they're saying no, I don't want to do that thing. Um, but my name is on the door, my face is on the thing. My business is called EMMA Lovell, and ultimately, it's not like they're saying no to my assistant or no to the accountant or no to someone. They're saying no to me. So there's only like to hear that a lot, and not that I've been hearing it. It's just the idea of hearing it, and it's just been this really interesting thing to observe in myself. So I'm asking you to have a look and to see, where are you scared? What are you scared of? And I'm certainly not telling you just to feel the fear and do it anyway. What's the fear? It's something, excitement appearing real. No, false energy appearing real or something like that. False emotion appearing real. I don't know. Fear has another acronym for like something like that. But also they say like fear is the same motivation or driver as excitement. So a lot of like Olympians and sports people turn that fear feeling into, oh, this is excitement. Like I'm excited to race. They're not scared of racing. They're excited to do the race. But sometimes like doing all this mental work and mindset work, it's like challenging and sometimes we're just like tired. Um, but so if you're feeling scared and it all just feels too much right now, potentially it's like okay, just have a rest. So my body decided to take over the wheel and made me have a cold. So I'm just recovering from that. So I was like, and I literally said it would be easier to take a rest if I had a cold. Thanks, universe, for that reminder. So self-care 101, we shouldn't need to get sick in order to take a rest. I felt like I was going slower, but obviously the universe was like, no, let's make sure you really get the message. So I've been having a rest. And then what has been coming up after being told to call people, to reach out to people, to be direct, uh, was then I got reminded of the 100 no's. And then last night I saw a reel, it was 1,000 no's, and I was like, oh gosh, I've really got to do this. So I actually have a book. My wonderful friend Tash Corbin gave me this goal setting book, and it's called Progress Art, and it's largely for, so it's a progress art coloring book, and you can get that at her website at tashcorbin.com/, let's get it right, tashcorbin.com/PA course. So it tells you a bit about progress art and how it is and how it works. So I ordered a coloring book and she was very beautiful. And she sent me two because she said, I thought someone, meaning my son Finn, might like their own copy of the book too, as Mama is such an epic role model, which again made me cry. But predominantly used for income goals. But the way we're using it for Finn, and he's really inspired me, is like, I want to do like three different things. I'm like, you could do it for brushing your teeth. We could do it for your practicing letter writing. We can do it for, he was doing something else. And I was like, we can pick three different pages and we can work on three different goals at once. He's like, no, I want to work on one goal because he's a Capricorn. One thing, like, stop trying to make me do it. I'm like, okay. And like every day for 3 days, I'm like, you sure you don't want to try another one? Like, because you did really good with your writing. We could track that as well. No. So anyway, I'm like, okay, maybe I should listen to him. So I do have an income goal in there, but I've also decided to do my 100 no's. So every time I get a no, I get to color in a star. And the psychologist told me about this one too. So it's like, essentially the theory is if you're getting yeses all the time, you I'll write down here, what did they say no to? Who said no? What did they say no to? And I say every no is getting me closer to a yes. So the idea is, Edison tried the light bulb and it was like 999 times and the thousandth time worked. You can ask, 100 people and they say no, and the 101st says yes, or the 99th says yes. But if you're not trying, if you're not asking, or if you're always getting yeses, you're way too in your comfort zone. So I got into the fear zone and I wasn't even asking at all. But then there's the comfort zone where you're only going where you're going to get an easy yes. And I don't want that. And I also don't want it too easy a no. I did put down two no's that were like, to a networking event, but I'm starting. So today I've sent a private message to a potential client, and I reached out to another potential client and said, and we're having a coffee next week. So it's a potentially. But it's like the theory is the more no's you get, the more resilient you'll get to the no's. But also like, this person's trying to do the no's. And she's probably asked like she's doing 1,000 no's. She probably asked for like 500 things. But she said about 360 no's, but she probably got 100 yeses that she would have got no yeses if she didn't ask at all. So the 100 no's is the idea is to get the no's, to build resilience, to push yourself to try to do something bigger. And the other way that I've heard about this, and I'm doing it in a group that I'm in, Kate Merriweather's Beautiful Show Up School, which predominantly focuses on LinkedIn but can be used on any platform. And her thing is called Shoot Your Shot Wednesday. And somebody else brought up, like created it, whatever. Anna McKenzie shared it on Threads or something. Shoot Your Shot Wednesdays, like every Wednesday, you reach out to one person who you're like, it's just something you wouldn't usually talk to this person. You wouldn't usually reach out. So shoot your shot. Oh, 333. That's an affirmation number. Just try. So, you want to do a collaboration with Apple, reach out to them on Wednesday. You want to go on this podcast and it's your dream podcast, you never got to go on it, go for it. If you've got that client that you've been meaning to follow up for ages, try it on Wednesday. Shoot your shot Wednesday. So only one, we only have to do one. I did a couple because, high achiever. But it was great. And just what the message I kept getting was, okay, have a little rest, heal my heart a little bit, remove some of the tenderness. But also the way that I'm going to remove that tenderness is by doing it. And so I'm like, okay, I got a few no's. I got a couple of no's to this networking drinks that I'm having. People aren't going to come. Okay, I'm fine. I didn't fall over. I didn't collapse. I didn't, go into a bundle. I probably get told no quite a bit. I probably get told yes quite a bit. I'm just not aware of them. So I do have a no yet list and a yes list. I think if I only track the no's, that might be quite negative for my headspace. I'm not tracking all the asks I'm putting out. We do have a leads tracker. So in my business, we are tracking the leads, but I don't want to create too much work because I'll stop. So just color in. Anytime someone says no, great. Color it in. I asked and you said no. Okay. And then if I can as well, put it on my note on my phone because I've always got my phone. So note, no, keeping a number. No, who said it, what they said no to. Okay. And then the yeses, they said yes to this and it led to this. So I think I still am probably a little bit scared. And I wanted to be honest with you about that. However, I'm finding a way to nurture my tenderness, give myself space around it, but also not go into a place where it all becomes too much. And you go into a place of freeze. So for me, particular, I know my personality type and I know my, I can overact and I can overreact and I can overproduce for fear of quietness and stillness. But I also do get energy from momentum. So I'm going to a networking event tomorrow. Again, beautiful Kate Merriweather has gifted me a ticket to the Ripple Festival. I actually said I wasn't going to go to conferences this year, but when you're given a gift, accept the gift. And I think having conversations, being around people, that's momentum, and potentially practicing asking in person and just keep that momentum going. Start a little bit of a momentum and yeah, getting comfortable with a no. So that's the 100 no's or the 1,000 no's. Shoot your shot Wednesday and like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of feeling the fear or trying to understand what is the fear. And it's okay to be a bit scared, to nurture your tenderness, but don't let the fear become a freeze. Find the way, find the path to some gentle movement, momentum, so that you can begin again. I just want to send a lot of love out to you if you're feeling that, because I think there's a lot of fear out in the world. And so we can really absorb that into our energy. But yeah, as mine's coming from a really personal place, and I really understand that journey that I'm on. But if you have seen yourself or heard yourself in this, then big love to you, and we can move through it. And yeah, that's just the message for today. So I'm a little scared, but I am showing up and I'm trying some new things, and I look forward to reporting back on my shot Wednesdays and potentially end up doing an episode in the future about the 100 no's and how that experiment went. 100 no's and 1,000 yeses because, I'm an achiever. All right. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for listening, lovely one. I hope this has inspired you to dream big and start creating a life you love today. If you love what you're hearing, don't forget to follow and rate on Spotify, and rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. It helps other awesome people to find this podcast and get motivated and inspired as well. Want to stay connected? Come and join the Live a Life You Love group on Facebook, or connect with me on Instagram, emmalovell.au. The same as my website, but all the details are in the show notes, lovely. I'll see you next episode for more inspiration, motivation, and freedom seeking. Now go out there and live a life you love. Welcome to today's podcast, the EMMA LOVELL Show, and I'm talking about the fact that I have been scared.